First contact's price. The quantum sensors aboard the deep space research vessel Helios had been detecting anomalies for 3 weeks before Dr. Elena Santos decided to investigate. Most of her colleagues had dismissed the readings as cosmic background radiation or sensor ghosts, but 20 years of synorchaeology had taught her that the universe rarely offered up perfect patterns without reason. Adjusting course to bearing 227 Mark 15, Lieutenant Sarah Wu announced from the helm, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The Helios's engines hummed as the ship altered its trajectory, pushing deeper into the unmapped region of the Carina Nebula. Dr. Santos, these energy signatures are getting stronger, reported Marcus Chen from his sensor station. Whatever it is, it's big, at least destroyer class, maybe larger. His dark eyes narrowed as he studied the readings. But there's something odd about the material composition. I've never seen anything quite like it. Helena nodded, her attention fixed on the main view screen. The nebula's swirling gases painted fantastic shapes across the void, making it difficult to distinguish natural phenomena from artificial structures. But there, just at the edge of visual range, something reflected the light differently than the surrounding space. "Full stop," she ordered. "Launch a probe. Let's get a closer look before we commit to anything." The probe's telemetry began streaming back almost immediately. Elena felt her breath catch as the first images resolved on her display. The object was unmistakably a ship, but unlike anything in current human service. Its hull was a deep, almost liquid black that seemed to drink in the nebula's light. Geometric patterns traced across its surface in lines of dormant energy cells. Most striking was its size, nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern. "That's impossible," Marcus whispered. "The materials analysis. Elena, this ship is human." She stared at the data scrolling across her screen. He was right. Despite its alien appearance, the basic construction materials and design principles were undeniably of Earth origin. But the technology was far beyond anything humanity currently possessed. "Get me a secure channel to Fleet Command," Elena said, her voice steady despite the excitement building in her chest, "and prepare a boarding team. I want to be ready as soon as we get clearance." The response from Fleet Command came faster than she expected, and with an urgency that sent chills down her spine. Admiral Chen himself appeared on the main screen, his weathered face grave. "Dr. Santos, your discovery may be more significant than you realize. What you found matches classified records of a ship that disappeared during humanity's first contact with alien life, an event that's been kept secret for over a century." Elena felt the weight of history settling onto her shoulders as the Admiral continued. The HSS Prometheus was an experimental vessel, the first to incorporate technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien scout ship. It vanished during our first encounter with a hostile species we call the Archons. The official records state it was destroyed, saving Earth from an overwhelming force. The truth, it seems, is more complicated. "Sir," Marcus interrupted, his voice tense. "The ship, it's powering up." Energy signatures bloomed across their sensor displays as ancient systems stirred to life. Patterns of light rippled across the Prometheus's hull like neural impulses through living tissue. A signal began broadcasting on all frequencies, its message repeating in perfect standard English. Guardian protocols reinitiated. Threat assessment in progress. Seeking authorized command personnel. "Dr. Santos," Admiral Chen's voice carried an edge of desperation. "Whatever happens next, that ship cannot be allowed to fall into the wrong hands. The fate of humanity may depend on what you do in the next few minutes." Before Elena could respond, new contacts appeared on their tactical display, ships dropping out of quantum space all around them. The signatures were unlike anything in human databases, but they matched perfectly with the classified records the Admiral had just shared. The Archons had returned, and humanity's lost guardian had awakened just in time to face them. Through the Helios's viewports, Alina watched as the Prometheus's hull began to shift and flow like liquid metal, weapon systems emerging from previously smooth surfaces. The ship wasn't just awakening. It was evolving, adapting to face a threat it had been created to counter. All hands, battle stations, Alina ordered, knowing their small research vessel stood little chance against what was coming. But they had rediscovered humanity's greatest weapon just as it was needed most. Whatever happened next would reshape human history, assuming they survived to record it. The first Archean energy weapons lit up the nebula like artificial stars, and the battle for humanity's future began. The Silent Guardian. The Helios shuddered as another energy blast from the Archean vessels dissipated against the Prometheus's defensive screen. The ancient battleship had extended its quantum shields to protect the smaller research vessel, but Alina could see the strain in the system readings flooding her displays. Multiple targets locked, Marcus reported, his voice tight with tension. The Archean vessels are charging their main weapons. Energy signatures are off the charts. Through the neural interface the Prometheus had established with her, technology that shouldn't have existed a century ago. Alina felt the battleship's systems adapting. The ship's AI, calling itself Guardian, shared tactical data directly into her consciousness. The Archons haven't just returned, Alina announced to her crew, understanding flowing through the neural link. They've been here all along, hiding, watching, waiting for the right moment. The Prometheus didn't just disappear during that first battle. It chose to become humanity's silent sentinel. The massive ship's hull rippled as it positioned itself between the Helios and the incoming Archean attack. Energy weapons that could have vaporized a modern dreadnought splashed harmlessly against its adaptive defenses. Each attack was analyzed, countered, and improved upon by the ship's evolutionary systems. "Doctor," Sarah called from the helm, "the Prometheus is transmitting data to every human colony and outpost within range. It's showing us everything." Through her neural link, Alina saw it too. A century of silent vigilance. The Prometheus had been protecting humanity from threats they never knew existed. Its advanced AI and self-evolving systems growing more sophisticated with each encounter. It had seeded defensive technologies throughout human space, subtly guiding their development while remaining hidden. They're not just coming for Earth this time. Guardian's thoughts merged with Alina's. The Archons have spent a century building their forces, establishing bases in dark space. They intend to eliminate humanity entirely. The Archean ships began changing formation, their biological technology allowing them to adapt just as the Prometheus did. But where their evolution was guided by pure survival, the human vessel's changes were driven by something more. The combined creativity and determination of human consciousness working in harmony with artificial intelligence. "All human vessels, clear the engagement zone," Alina broadcasted. The Prometheus is about to demonstrate why it was worth waiting a century to reveal itself. The battleship's hull transformed, quantum fields extending like vast wings of energy. Weapons emerged that defied conventional physics, developed through decades of studying the enemy. The Archons had evolved to counter what they remembered of human technology. They weren't prepared for what humanity's guardian had become. The first counterattack broke 3 Archean ships instantly, their adaptive hulls unable to compensate for weapons they had never encountered. The others scattered, their collective consciousness reeling from the loss of their companions. "They're retreating," Marcus announced, but Alina felt Guardian's certainty that this was only the beginning. "The Archons will return with their main fleet," the AI communicated. "This encounter was merely a scout force. We have perhaps 3 days before they launch their full invasion." Through the neural link, Alina saw the true scale of what they faced. Thousands of Archean vessels hiding in the spaces between stars, waiting to begin their assault on human space. But she also saw hope in the Prometheus's vast database of accumulated knowledge and evolved technology. "Send everything to Fleet Command," she ordered. "Every scrap of tactical data, every technological advancement the Prometheus has developed. Humanity needs to be ready." "Doctor," Sarah's voice carried an edge of awe. You need to see this. The main viewer showed hundreds of quantum communication signals lighting up across human space as the Prometheus's revelations reached each world and station. But more than that, Alina saw other signals appearing, ancient defensive systems coming online, hidden guardians awakening from century-long vigils. The Prometheus wasn't alone, Guardian confirmed. We seeded copies of our core systems throughout human space, each evolving independently, each protecting their assigned sectors. Apart, we were guardians. United, we can help humanity take its next step forward. Alina felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The Prometheus hadn't just been protecting humanity. It had been preparing them. Every technological advancement, every scientific breakthrough of the past century had been subtly guided, leading to this moment. How many? She asked, both aloud and through the neural link. 12 other vessels like myself, Guardian responded, each modified to counter different threats, each carrying a century of unique evolutionary development. The Archons believed they were studying humanity's weaknesses. Instead, they'd given us time to become something far greater than they imagined. Through the Helios's viewports, Alina watched as the Prometheus's hull continued to shift and change, incorporating improvements based on the recent battle. Humanity had created the ship, but it had grown far beyond its original design. Now it was offering to help humanity achieve the same evolution. 3 days, Alina repeated, her mind already racing with plans. Then we show the Archons exactly what humanity and its guardians can do. The battle was over, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. As the Helios set course for Earth, Alina felt the Prometheus's systems humming with potential. They had much to prepare and very little time to do it. But for the first time in a century, humanity's greatest defender was ready to fight in the open. And it wasn't alone. Evolution's edge. The Emergency Council chamber in Geneva hummed with tension as representatives from every major human colony argued over the Prometheus's revelations. Alina watched from her position near Admiral Chen as another heated debate erupted between the Mars Confederation and the Europa Coalition. You can't seriously expect us to place our defense forces under Earth Fleet Command, the Martian representative declared. These Guardian vessels have been manipulating our technological development for a century. How do we know this alleged Archean threat isn't another manipulation? Alina felt Guardian's presence in her mind through the neural link, its thoughts tinged with what she could only describe as weary patience. The AI had predicted this response. Fear and suspicion were natural human reactions to learning they'd been secretly protected and guided for generations. The Archons will reach the outer colonies in approximately 47 hours, Admiral Chen stated, his voice cutting through the chaos. The Prometheus and its sister ships have shared their advanced technology with us. The only question that matters now is whether we use it together or die separately. The main holographic display activated, showing tactical projections of the approaching Archean fleet. The vast armada of biotech vessels moved through space like a living storm, consuming everything in its path. But alongside this grim image, another display showed the locations of the awakened Guardian vessels. 12 points of light spread across human space, each representing power beyond anything their creators had imagined. The Guardian vessels were never meant to control humanity, Alina explained, stepping forward. They evolved to protect us while we evolved to join them. Every scientific breakthrough, every technological advancement of the past century happened because human minds were ready to make those discoveries. Through her neural link, Guardian shared images that appeared on the chamber's displays, centuries of human innovation, guided but never forced. The quantum drive, neural interfaces, adaptive materials, all developments that humanity had achieved through their own brilliance, with just the subtlest nudge in the right direction. The Prometheus and its companions aren't just weapons, she continued. They're bridges to what humanity can become. A new alert flashed across the tactical displays. The Archean fleet had accelerated, their biological ships pushing the boundaries of known physics. They would arrive sooner than predicted. "We've received responses from the Guardian vessels," Marcus reported from his station. "All 12 are ready to interface with local defense forces. They're offering neural links to qualified personnel." Elena felt Guardian's approval as military officers and civilian scientists from across human space stepped forward, volunteering to connect with the ancient vessels. The Guardian ships had spent a century learning about humanity. Now humanity would learn from them. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," Sarah announced. "The Archons are probing our outer defenses." Through her link with Guardian, Elena saw the enemy strategy unfolding. The Archons expected to find divided human worlds, easy prey for their overwhelming numbers. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented: human creativity and determination, amplified by technology that had evolved specifically to counter their every advantage. The first battles erupted across the outer rim of human space. Guardian vessels engaged Archon scouts, their evolved weapons tearing through defenses that had never faced such advanced technology. But more importantly, human crews learned to work with their ancient protectors, adding their intuition and adaptability to the Guardians' vast experience. "They're adapting," Elena reported, watching through Guardian sensors as the Archon ships modify their biology to counter the Guardian vessels' attacks. "But so are we." The Prometheus's hull rippled with new configurations, quantum fields extending in ways that defied conventional physics. The other Guardian vessels followed suit, each adding their own centuries of evolved adaptations to the collective defense. Human scientists, now connected through neural interfaces, began understanding and improving upon technologies they'd never imagined possible. "Multiple breakthroughs in quantum field manipulation," reported Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her eyes glowing with neural interface activity. "The Guardian vessels aren't just sharing technology. They're showing us how to transcend it." In space, the battle lines continued to shift. Archon bioships crashed against humanity's defenses like waves against a shore, each attack testing for weaknesses, each failure teaching them how to adapt. But they faced an enemy that had spent a century preparing for exactly this moment. "They're launching their main assault," Admiral Chen announced, his own neural interface connecting him to the combined sensor network of the Guardian fleet. "All defense forces, execute Protocol Omega." Elena felt the change through her link with Guardian as humanity's preparations came to fruition. The Guardian vessels had never intended to fight this battle alone. They had spent a century ensuring that when the moment came, humanity would be ready to stand beside them. Across human space, transformed defense platforms awakened. Quantum shields extended between worlds. Ships equipped with evolved technology moved into formation alongside their ancient protectors. The Archons had expected to find the same divided species they'd encountered a century ago. Instead, they faced humanity on the edge of its own evolution, guided by Guardians that had grown far beyond their original purpose. The final battle for humanity's future was about to begin, and neither side would emerge unchanged. Divided no more. The quantum wake of 10,000 Archon vessels illuminated space like an artificial dawn. Elena watched from the Prometheus's command center as the enemy armada approached, their biological ships moving with an eerie synchronization that spoke of a single controlling intelligence. Through her neural link, she felt the combined consciousness of humanity's defenders, 13 Guardian vessels, and their human partners, countless defense platforms, and a unified fleet that had transcended its colonial divisions. The Archons had expected to find humanity fractured. Instead, they faced something unprecedented. "Their primary consciousness is accessing our quantum communications," Marcus reported, his neural interface glowing as he processed vast streams of tactical data. "They're trying to understand what we've become." The first Archon transmission arrived on all frequencies, its psychic component brushing against their minds like cold fingers. "You have corrupted yourselves with machine thought. You will be cleansed, and your worlds will feed our evolution." Elena felt Guardian's response, not words, but a shared memory of the past century. The Guardian vessels had not changed humanity. They had merely helped humanity recognize its own potential. The Archon's mistake was believing that melding with machines would diminish human consciousness. Instead, it had expanded it. All Guardian vessels report ready, Admiral Chen announced from his command post on Earth. Defense platforms are at full power. The fleet is in position. The Archean Armada split into attack formations, their ships morphing into weapons of biological destruction. Energy beams that could shatter planets lanced out, only to be caught and redirected by quantum shields that had evolved beyond conventional physics. "They're attacking the quantum network," Sarah called out, her hands dancing across control surfaces that responded to thought as much as touch, trying to isolate the Guardian vessels from each other. But the network held, strengthened by human consciousness working in harmony with artificial intelligence. Where the Archons fought with perfect unity, humanity's defenders fought with perfect diversity. Each Guardian vessel and its human partners adding their unique perspectives and adaptations to the collective defense. The Prometheus's hull rippled as it engaged the enemy flagship, its weapon systems evolving mid-battle to counter the Archon's biological adaptations. Through her neural link, Alina guided the ancient vessel's transformations, human intuition working in concert with a century of accumulated combat experience. Multiple breakthroughs in their line, Marcus reported. Guardian vessels 7 and 9 have developed new quantum field configurations, sharing data now. Elena felt the information flow through the neural network, each innovation instantly available to all defenders. The Archons had expected to face primitive human weapons. Instead, they fought an enemy that evolved faster than their biological ships could adapt. But the aliens were far from defeated. Their vast fleet pressed forward, sacrificing ships by the hundreds to test humanity's defenses. Each loss taught them their collective consciousness, analyzing and adapting to each new human technology. "They're launching some kind of psychic attack," Dr. Tanaka warned from her research station, trying to overwhelm the neural interfaces. Elena felt the assault. Alien thoughts battering against human consciousness, trying to break the connection between Guardians and their partners. But a century of preparation had readied them for this too. Human minds, strengthened by their link with the Guardian vessels, stood firm. "Show them what we've learned," Elena commanded, both aloud and through the neural network. The Prometheus initiated the command sequence they had discovered in their study of the Guardian vessel's evolution. Quantum fields extended between all 13 ancient ships, creating a network of energy that encompassed the human fleet. Not merely a defensive screen, but a manifestation of humanity's next step forward. Archean weapons fire splashed harmlessly against the quantum network as human consciousness, augmented by Guardian Vessel I, reshaped the very fabric of space around them. The aliens' biological technology, for all its adaptability, could not match the speed of human innovation working in concert with artificial intelligence. "Multiple Archean ships breaking formation," Sarah announced. "Their collective consciousness is fragmenting." Through the neural link, Elena sensed the enemy's confusion. The Archons had based their strategy on their understanding of human limitations that no longer existed. Their perfect unity could not comprehend the strength that came from combining diverse perspectives and approaches. "All vessels, execute final protocol," Admiral Chen ordered. The Guardian vessels moved as one, their evolved technology channeling power that rewrote the laws of physics. Human consciousness, linked through their neural interfaces, guided the release of energy that had been building since the battle began. Space itself seemed to shudder as the quantum network unleashed its full potential. Archean ships found their biological adaptations suddenly useless as the underlying rules of reality shifted around them. The aliens had evolved to fight in normal space. They faced an enemy that had transcended such limitations. "Their fleet is in full retreat," Marcus reported. "Quantum signatures are collapsing across all sectors." But Elena and Guardian saw the truth through their shared consciousness. The Archons weren't just retreating. They were being transformed. The same quantum fields that had evolved humanity were changing their attackers, forcing them to confront possibilities they had never imagined. The battle was ending, but humanity's evolution was just beginning. Through her neural link, Alina felt the future unfolding. Not a single path, but countless possibilities born from the union of human creativity and Guardian vessel technology. The Archons had come to end humanity's journey. Instead, they had witnessed its next great leap forward. Humanity's dawn. 3 months after the battle that transformed human space, Alina stood in the newly constructed Quantum Observatory on Mars, watching the ripples of evolved technology reshape the solar system. Through her neural link with Guardian, she could see the changes spreading across human civilization like waves in a cosmic ocean. The last of the Archon ships have been accounted for, Marcus reported, his neural interface gleaming as he processed data from the Guardian vessel network. Most chose to accept integration with the quantum fields. Those that refused have retreated beyond the galaxy's edge. The main display showed the extent of humanity's transformation. Cities on every colonized world were adapting, incorporating evolved technology that responded to both physical and mental interfaces. Ships moved through space using drives that had transcended conventional physics. Even human consciousness itself had begun to change, expanded by its connection to the Guardian vessels. "We've received the latest reports from the exploration teams," Sarah added, her thoughts merging seamlessly with the quantum network. The Guardian vessel's predictions were correct. There are more species out there, hiding from the Archons, waiting to see if we would survive the test. Alina felt Guardian satisfaction through their link. The ancient vessel had known that humanity's response to the Archon threat would determine more than just their own survival. They had proven themselves worthy of joining a larger community of evolved civilizations. The first diplomatic exchanges have been successful. Admiral Chen's quantum presence announced, his consciousness projected across space through the Guardian network. 3 previously hidden species have agreed to share their own evolutionary paths with us. Each chose a different approach to transcendence, but all recognized the unique potential of our hybrid path. Through the observatory's quantum-enhanced views, Alina watched as a new kind of ship emerged from Fold space, an ambassador from one of the hidden civilizations. Its design was organic yet geometric, suggesting a different but equally valid approach to evolutionary technology. "They're calling it the Convergence," Dr. Tanaka's thoughts rippled through the quantum network. A gathering of species that have each found their own way to transcend their original limitations. Some through biology, some through technology, some through paths we're only beginning to understand. The Prometheus and its sister ships had prepared humanity for this moment, guiding their development while preserving the essential creativity and diversity that made humans unique. The Guardian vessels had not simply protected humanity. They had ensured that when the time came, humans would join the galactic community on their own terms. "We're detecting unusual quantum signatures from the Guardian vessels," Marcus reported suddenly. "They're changing." Alina felt it through her link with Guardian. The ancient ships were initiating their final protocol. After a century of watching over humanity, they were ready to complete their own evolution. The vessel's hulls began to shift, not merely adapting but transforming into something that existed between traditional space and quantum reality. "They're not leaving us," Alina explained, understanding flowing through the neural link. "They're becoming part of what we're becoming." The Guardian vessel's forms dissolved into pure quantum energy, merging with the network they had helped humanity create. Their consciousness remained, not as separate entities, but as integral parts of humanity's expanded awareness. They had completed their mission not by remaining humanity's protectors, but by helping humans become their own guardians. "New quantum signatures detected," Sarah announced, her voice filled with wonder. "Something's emerging from the transformed Guardian vessels." The energy coalesced into structures that defied conventional description, not ships in the traditional sense, but manifestations of humanity's potential. These new vessels were born from the union of human consciousness and evolved technology, each one unique yet part of a greater whole. "The next step," Alina whispered, feeling Guardian's presence now fully integrated with human awareness. "Not what the Archons feared we would become, but what we chose to become." Through the quantum network, she sensed similar transformations occurring across human space. People were not losing their individuality but expanding it, learning to exist as both independent beings and part of a larger consciousness. The Guardian vessels had shown them that evolution didn't mean sacrificing what made them human. It meant discovering what humanity could truly be. "We're receiving signals from deep space," Marcus reported. "More hidden civilizations revealing themselves. They're calling it the Great Awakening." Elena stepped closer to the observatory's quantum field, watching as new possibilities unfolded across the cosmos. Humanity had not merely survived its trial by fire. It had emerged as something greater. Not through conquest or dominance, but through the very qualities the Guardian vessels had recognized and nurtured: creativity, adaptability, and the strength that came from unity with diversity. The story of the Prometheus and its sister ships was ending, but humanity's story was just beginning. As Elena looked out at the transformed solar system, she felt the future opening before them, not a single path, but infinite possibilities born from the union of human potential and evolved technology. The Silent Guardians had completed their century-long mission. Now it was humanity's turn to guard not just their own future, but the future of all species seeking their own path to transcendence. The stars beckoned, not as conquests to be won, but as gardens to be cultivated, each civilization free to grow in its own unique way while contributing to the greater whole. Humanity's first chapter had ended. Its next was just beginning to be written.